What's the weirdest kink you've heard of? Hentai of people shitting out of their dick hole or nipples. How does one shit out of their dick hole or nipples? With the power of animation. There's a guy who goes around commissioning artists to draw busty blonde women walking down a grocery store aisle stocked exclusively with massively overpriced Wonder Bread while pushing a cart full of said bread. I think I ran into this on Tumblr. A bunch of artists were all posting their versions of this guy's very specific kink and wondering who this guy is and why he has such a specific thing. Ah yes, Merlogic. What a Chad. He's uncomfortably normal in real life. Just wealthy and dedicated. And turned on by deforestation. And turned on by deforestation. What? I like to imagine myself killing my husband when I orgasm. Husband, yup, that's right. That's her shit. Tom Segura. Praying mantis position. Sounding. I want to turn back in time to the days when I didn't know that thing existed. It's just like learning Minecraft. One of those experiences you only get the pleasure of learning about for the first time once. Big down jackets / down clothing. Just women in oddly large fluffy winter clothes. Not shocking. Not gross. Just weird and unusual. Lol, nice. Not the most messed up or gross. But it's cake farting. It's just girls farting on cakes. LMAO, how did you discover this? I think it's referenced in the show Better Call Saul. r/d feedists comes to mind. NSFW. For anyone curious, it appears to be weight gain / feeder fetishism with a focus on the ensuing health complications, including fatal ones. Yep, ducking sick. Even a regular sadist would cringe in disgust looking at that. Grown ass woman acting like a baby, literally wanting to be raped while she cries and pee herself. I experienced that. Since then I'm not the same. Close bracket. Saw it on Tumblr one time. Scared me for life. Scared is a weird word for enlightened. I knew to expect some weird shit when I went to look at the replies here. I wasn't ready for some of this shit though. People have some weird ducking kinks. To each their own, I guess. If you wanna get off to watching someone fart on a cake, you do you. Adult baby / diaper lover, ABDL. I think this is less weird than a lot of people think. In a lot of cases this is more BDSM / lifestyle than it is kink. Sure, there's often a sexual aspect involved, but I think there is as much of an emotional release as there is a sexual one. Most forms of CG/L revolve around a power dynamic of dominant and submissive. And for some people the ultimate submission is being completely and utterly helpless in a controlled environment. Others prefer to be caregivers and take care of somebody that absolutely needs their help, at least for an hour or so. It's not my thing. But being into age play myself, I can see the appeal of having someone nurture you in a completely carefree, immature state. On the opposite end of the spectrum is probably full-on torture / dungeon stuff, which I find way more weird. Balloons. I've came across porno videos where naked girls pop balloons. Also those lunar folks. Freezing period blood for icy blood play. That's it. I'm done with the internet. Model trains. Belly inflation. I like being locked in chastity. Having stuff in my ass while cross-dressed in slutty outfits. Bondage and mild CBT. I'm a guy. I don't think it's that far off the spectrum, but obviously isn't vanilla. It's more common than you think. Almost every pro-dom offers this kind of service, along with forced feminization. IVVN read smut stories about this written in the late 1800s from Victorian erotica novelists who don't sound too different from today. Inflation and vor. Vor is pretty darn weird. I also do not understand people who get turned on by fesses and urine. As a fat woman I do not get chubby chasers at all. They really seem to think of us fat women as nothing more than oversized sex dolls, yet refuse to see how shallow they are. And I was introduced to one via a Winnie Tumblr post. Apparently there's people out there who get off on seeing people transformed into other people. Someone commissioned this dude on DeviantArt to draw this stereotypical blonde bimbo who picks up a book and gets transformed into a modestly dressed brunette with glasses. Apparently a lot of women on Tumblr saw this as sexist. It's weird, but I don't see it as sexist. Urine is kinda iffy, but feces is actually a huge indicator of mental health problems. There is nothing good about feces when it comes to interacting with the human body, and if a person derives pleasure from that of an infectious disease-ridden waste product, it means on a biological level their brain has been wired wrong to accept the wrong inputs for dopamine versus risk assessment and should seek treatment. It is not a fetish or kink, it is a neurological disorder. The thought of urethral sounding always makes my skin crawl, but my kink is not your kink. As long as it's done with risk-aware consent. Be as weird as you want. Oh, don't worry, we are. Well, there's a story along with this one. But in going with the time, a classmate was revealed to have a diaper fetish. He was also the kind of guy who as a senior in high school tried to go after the youngest looking freshman. Watching girls eating smegma directly from the tip. / tips cheese on toast supper in bin. Flat people or wide people like wide Putin. I briefly saw a girl who thought it was hot if I secretly came in her and didn't tell her. So she'd never actually know if I did it. And if I ever told her, hey, I came in you and never told you about it, it would ruin the enjoyment she got out of it possibly having ever happened. Eventually I was just like, just assume I'm going to every time and get your enjoyment. But she didn't want to do it that way. To this day I still have no idea how I was supposed to not indicate that I did in a way that she would secretly know. She was turned on by a slew of other totally impractical or impossible kinks. Go on. A woman who liked having period sex and then cleaning up her man with her mouth. Knee inflation. Like. Specifically the knee. No other body part? Yep, just the knee. Top 3 would be getting cooked and eaten alive. Surprising the number of people who are into this. There's probably a subreddit for it, castration fantasies, and I don't mean just saying balls are gone, but the whole basis of describing the step-by-step procedure of the removal, and in graphic, surgical detail. It's not for the faint of heart. IDK what kind of fetish this would be, but I once saw, at too young of an age, a porn video where a woman mails a male through a guy's dick. Yup. Honorable mention. Chewing ice. Ball expansion. Like that episode of South Park. No. Depending on the type, they either inject the scrotum with saline or band them so they swell. Cock and ball torture. Cock and ball torture, CBT, is a sexual activity involving application of pain or constriction to the male genitals. This may involve directly painful activities, such as wax play, genital spanking, squeezing, ball busting, genital flogging, urethral play, tickle torture, erotic electrostimulation, or even kicking. The recipient of such activities may receive direct physical pleasure via masochism, or emotional pleasure through erotic humiliation, or knowledge that the play is pleasing to a sadistic dominant. Many of these practices carry significant health risks. Cognitive behavioral therapy. I think you meant cognitive behavioral therapy. Vor. Definitely vor. Or guys having their dicks in a girl's nipple. Yeah. It really exists. Deleted. I thought that was an actual common sex thing for the longest time. That is something that scares me about kids growing up these days. Back in my day, you were done beating off before the picture was done loading. And we liked it. Just kidding. But with all the crazy shit available to any kid with a smartphone, what is that going to do to their mental development regarding sex? Don't know if it's the weirdest, but cattle prods. Link. Wikipedia. org/wiki/dendrophilia_ paraphilia seems a bit odd, since the link is staying blue. Got a summary? People who wanna duck trees, apparently. I talked to a guy with a sweater fetish one time. He wanted me to send him pictures in cashmere sweaters and would jerk off into a blankie. There's a movie with James Spader where they get turned on and have sex in the wreckage of a car accident. If I remember correctly, there was a group of people into it in the movie. Part of the kink was the injuries that they got from the car accident. Crash, 1996 Cronenberg movie. I is female and I like imagining I have a dick during sex. I'm a dom, and I like the power aspect of it, and also imagining what it would feel like to have a dick. My partner of 5 years is the only person who knows this about me, and he actually thinks it's hot. He'll suck on my clit like it's a dick before we duck, and he loves me being on top and taking control. I don't think I've heard of anything much weirder than this, and I also don't know where it came from. Lol. So I have had this fetish for as long as I can remember. I like when girls lightly slap or squeeze my balls. To be clear, I do not like leather, slave talk, extreme violence, bondage, etc. For me, this fetish is more about being in the woman's power and her having control over me than it is about me being in pain. I don't like to be hit to the point where my balls ache. Just a few light playful slaps. I have never once found a porn video showing this. All searches produce extreme BDSM vids of girls brutally kicking guys. This is a major turn off for me. I don't know, I guess I'm a vanilla freak lol. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.